Welcome back to another Tuesday grilling or versus video.
Okay, so today we're making breakfast bites, egg bites for middle of day, 11 o'clock. I'm hungry. So I'm gonna be doing mine in the Instapot and you are?
I'm gonna be doing mine on the PitBoss smoker.
And I would just like to say that I have upgraded in this household, that we've been doing versus so much that I now have my own microphone. I think it's pretty cool.
We'll see how it sounds.
Sounds good to me.
So here's how we're gonna do this. Today we're gonna film all the stuff that Whitney's doing on the egg white bites in the pressure cooker, and I'm gonna film mine tomorrow while she's at work. I'm gonna do all mine on the smoker. And the way we do these is we cook them and put them in the fridge to use as quick breakfasts on the go. So our taste test will be following this, where we heat them up in the air fryer.
Yes. All right, so basically what we have here is literally an egg that we got from Easter. Clever, right? I have egg whites, a splash of milk, salt and pepper. I mix this all together, and then I have a cup of water, which we're gonna pour in the bottom of the Instapot for it to help cook. I have beef chorizo, some shredded cheese, and then I have mushrooms sauteed in a little bit of butter. I was recently diagnosed with diabetes.
Diabetes.
Thank you, Wilford. Diabetes.
So I have to start eating a little bit healthier. So this was kind of my way of doing it. And then also with moving here, like I have an hour drive to and from work each morning, and there are 5 o'clock shifts coming up in my future next week. So I have to be out of the door by 4 o'clock, which means I have to be at 3 o'clock in the morning, and Starbucks unfortunately doesn't open that early, so I'm making my own. So basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and pour 1 cup of water in the bottom of the Instapot, because I'm also gonna use that measuring cup to put my egg in here so I don't spill it everywhere. All right, so we're just gonna take our eggs, we're gonna throw it in here. And then as I assemble this, I'm just gonna dump each of the ingredients inside the egg molds itself once I get the egg whites in there. And then I have this nifty little thing that we should just probably go ahead and do this now. That it's gonna sit in there, and then it just holds it, and it's easy to pull it out when it's ready. So we're gonna pour our bites in there. So now that we have these sort of evenly dispersed in here, I'm just gonna go ahead and start adding the ingredients. I have never had chorizo before, so I'm really skeptical on how this is gonna taste and turn out. I don't really know. Just pop it in there. But I'm only gonna put some and a little bit of these, not all of them. All right, so now I've added the chorizo to these 4 right here. I'm gonna do one with just chorizo and cheese, one with chorizo, cheese, and mushrooms, and then the other 2, I'm just gonna leave one with just chorizo and the other one with just chorizo and cheese.
Alright, let's see.
Hey McKinley.
That one's gonna overflow, but that's okay. A little bit. All right, so I have a little silicone lid. Everything that I've read, because I've never made these before, but everything I read said you could put tinfoil over it, so when you have it in the Instapot, the condensation doesn't get in here and make them watery. But I'm just gonna use my little silicone lid here. I'm gonna snap it on there. I'm gonna very carefully transfer it. Okay, so from this point, once we have our egg bites in here, we have the lid closed. We're gonna set this to seal this time, and let's not forget that important very step. We are going to manually set it for low pressure for 8 minutes, and then we're gonna naturally release for 5. Pressure cook. 8 minutes. Oops, just kidding. And then pressure level is set to low. Make sure you do that, and then it's gonna take a little bit to obviously get to pressure, and basically just leave it for a while. Okay, so we naturally released this for 5 minutes, and then I got busy doing other stuff. That's kind of the fun part of the Instapot, other than the grill. You gotta stand there and monitor it. Anyways, so we're gonna take it out and see what it looks like. All right, so upon opening this, it appears as though everything is kind of run everywhere. So we're just gonna take it out and see what we got. It's really hot in there. I'm gonna peel the lid back, and it's gonna get water everywhere, but whatever. That's what it looks like. We're gonna do a little flippy-roo.
Good thing I'm not filming your face.
Oh God.
Kind of looks like macaroni and cheese.
That looks like curdled milk. That does not look like macaroni and cheese. Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
But that's a plain one. So they taste good. They're not pretty. But that's okay. I'm still gonna eat them, and I'm still getting vegetables because I ate one with mushrooms, and it tasted pretty good. And the chorizo's not bad at all. I like it. I'd make them again. I'm just gonna have to obviously play with this a little bit. So we'll see how he does.
For egg white bites on the smoker, it's really pretty easy. And the beautiful part about this is egg whites are a really neutral item and it absorbs smoke fairly quickly. We're gonna turn the grill on 300 degrees. I'm using a competition blend set of pellets. That's a mixture of fruit wood and hardwood. You don't want something really harsh like 100% mesquite or hickory or oak. So having a blend would be really, really good for this, or a fruit wood. Got this cranked at 300. I'll go get the rest of the ingredients and I'll show you how simple this is. This is one of those that I don't know if it takes any longer on the smoker than it does on the Instapot. So we'll see how we do against my daughter. I've just got a pan going over here. It's a nice cast iron skillet. I've got a little bit of butter in here melted. Just gonna bring this up to temperature, and then we're gonna go ahead and saute the onions and the mushrooms right in here. I'm just gonna wait for this to get up to temperature. All right, we've got our pan up to temperature. Gonna get the onions in here. Now this is a half of a sweet onion. I'm just gonna let these begin to soften a little bit before we put the mushrooms in there. Because the mushrooms are diced so small, I suspect that they're gonna be done in no time at all. So we wanna get these at least translucent before we put the mushrooms on. I'm gonna keep these moving along. They've soaked in a lot of that butter that I had in here. They're nice and translucent, so I'm gonna go ahead and pour in the mushrooms at this stage. Over here. Yeah, right here. Hey, do me a favor. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more like it, subscribe to the channel and click on that little bell notification so you get notified of new videos. Thanks. So these are looking real nice. Not quite brown, but translucent, nice and soft. We're gonna go ahead and take these off here and just put them in a bowl to cool. We don't want to pop them directly into the hot egg white mixture because we don't want these to begin to cook the eggs as soon as they touch it. Just let these cool down a little bit. You can cook these ahead of time, would be fine too. Let's talk about what it is we need to make these. I'm using a really cheap little muffin tin. I'll put a link down in the description below. You can get these things for a couple of bucks, and they're designed just for going out on the grill for us. My wife doesn't bake in these, they just stay for this. I've sprayed this with a little bit of Pam or some kind of a non-stick spray, and that's what we're gonna go ahead and make the shapes in. So this works really good. Each of these muffin tins holds about 3 ounces of liquid, and I don't want them to be filled up all the way, so I'm going to put 2 ounces of egg whites in each one. I have 6 in a tray, and that means that I just went ahead and put 6 ounces of egg whites into a little blender. I used a blender because I have found that if you blend it just a little bit, just aerate it a bit, they get a little bit lighter and a little bit fluffier, and they accept some more of that smoke flavor. They also help to suspend the ingredients we put, the onions and mushrooms, up inside of it. They don't all just immediately sink to the bottom of it. So you don't want to blend it long. I mean, literally put this on and I pulsed it for 2 times for 1 second each. That's it. In the egg white mixture, I went ahead and put in 1 tablespoon of ricotta cheese. Normally I use cottage cheese, but because we're using egg whites, we need a little bit of fat in that. You could put a drop of milk, would be fine too. Just something you have that will give you a bit of that fatness to it. We have our onions and peppers, and I'm gonna go ahead and use about half of this in this batch, and then we'll make 6 more in a few minutes. And then cheating, I also went ahead and just grabbed me a small little measuring cup that pours. It makes it a lot easier to fill these trays. So the next step here is I'm gonna dump my egg mixture in here, put about half of my onions and mushroom mixture, and we're just gonna start putting them in this tray before we put them into the smoker. I'm just gonna pour that right into our container. And now we're gonna go ahead and put about half of our onion and mushroom mixture into here. Now you're gonna have a little bit of butter left over from this. And you notice I used butter when I did the onions and mushrooms because I knew it was gonna go into the eggs. I don't want that oily taste from using olive oil or something like that. You just set this aside. Now it really is as simple as just giving this a good mix up here, and we're gonna begin to pour it in here. And the reason we're mixing it is we don't want it to all settle to the bottom. We really want it to pour as we go through here. And you wanna probably do this with water first so you know where your 2-ounce mark is on each of these. That's exactly what I'm doing here. I know it's about 2/3 of the way on these, and that's the 2-ounce line. I'm just using the spatula here to keep any of the little bits when they fall in there from splashing around. So our grill's sitting right at 300 degrees. We're just gonna open this up and put it right in the top shelf. We wanna be really careful, we don't wanna spill this. So let's just carefully place this here. And we're doing it on the top shelf because we want the heat to be somewhat indirect. We don't want it to directly scorch on there. Now, once you get this recipe down and you're doing this a few times, by all means, you can cook 4 of these trays at one time. We only cook about a dozen at a time. It works well for us. That way we can have 2 every day, and it lasts sort of a week of breakfasts. That's sort of the way we do it. These are great before you head off to work or for a nice, healthy, and quick breakfast. Typically, the way we cook these is we just heat them up for about 2 minutes in the air fryer before we're gonna eat them. We store them all in a container in the fridge and then just put them right into the air fryer. It'll work great that way. Microwave works good too. So once they're in, we wanna cook them for about 7 to 9 minutes or so at 300 degrees. Check them often. What you want is you want them to be firm and solid, but not overly cooked. Remember, we're gonna heat these up when we go to eat them again later. Feels like these need just a little bit more time. All right, so we are right at about 9 minutes, about halfway through. I came in here and rotated these around. I just want to make sure that they look good. I'll take my spatula and make sure that they seem loose around the side, and they do. Put that right over here. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that these will just sort of loosen up right around this. We just run this around in a circle. You need to do it with a nice small spatula so you can get them right out of there. Look at that. If you have a little silicone spatula, they work great for sliding right underneath there. If you look at the bottom of them, you see they're a little bit brown, but they're still nice and soft. They're not crunchy or anything. It's exactly what we want. When we serve these, just putting that in the air fryer for a few minutes, be perfect. Look at those. I mean, I don't want to start staking claim and victory already, but given the challenges my contender had in there with the way hers turned out, I think on appearance, again, these are going to look better. We'll see on the taste side. My prediction is I might win this one. What do you guys think? Put something in the comment down below. Let me know. Instapot or smoker? So we'll let these cool off. As soon as Whitney gets home from work, we're going to do a taste test between the 2 of them. Well, you know what? Whitney's not back from work yet. The sun's almost gone down. You guys just saw the edited part of what she did with her egg white bites. I'm gonna go ahead and try mine. I'm gonna stake victory. I would say these are definitely gonna be better. The fact that they remained whole and didn't fall apart looking like cottage cheese makes me win. I know she can do those. I think what ended up happening was the silicone needed to be sprayed with a little bit of baking oil or something, which is really surprising, but they stuck in there something fierce. Really surprising, but these are good. The egg and the mushroom are kind of spread throughout the whole thing. Wow, what good flavor. The onions are really, really sweet. Maybe I even have too many onions in there, but I like onions, so it tastes phenomenal. Taking these, putting 2 on a little air fryer tray, air frying them for 2 minutes in the morning, popping them out on a little plate and cutting them up with a fork. These are just phenomenal. And they make a great and easy breakfast. Honestly, at Starbucks, they're what, like $4.65, I think, for 2 of them? Maybe this cost us, I don't know, $2 to make the 12 of them. So definitely a better deal. Tastes better. Homemade, you know exactly what's in them. We'll see y'all next Tuesday for another grilling video, and stay tuned for these verses. We are having a blast with this. It's been something a lot of fun for my daughter and I to do together now that she's living in town. So we've been having fun. I hope you're enjoying the videos as well. Thanks everybody. We'll see you later. Safe and happy grilling.